She's April.
And she's Molly.
And we are
the Book Besties.
I forgot how it starts.
Did you forget the words?
I was like, geez, Molly! Where the fuck am I today?
This is what my brain asks me every day I wake up. Like, is it Monstrous Sea time yet?
I do. I feel like I know what it's about.
I shame children just because. I'm off.
It's a rainbow. It's just made of an oil spill. It's fine.
I have opened a Pandora's box.
And we have a special guest with us here today.
Yay!
For the third time, we have Francesca Zappia, author Francesca Zappia.
It's me! I'm here again!
So, we have to tell you something. We are doing the Annapolis Book Festival in April, and part of the reason that we're getting to do that is actually because of you. One of the episodes that they previewed when we pitched to them that, like, we come, one of the episodes they previewed was Station 11, and they loved it.
That's awesome. That is so cool.
That is one of my favorite episodes we've done, and Molly's not even in it, but I did love it.
Getting some blowback there. That's fine.
Surprise, surprise.
Not even a
April's favorite episodes when I'm not there.
Well, it was just fun because it was like literally us like loving this book and just, you know, and you didn't even like it. So it was fine.
It's
you
just,
weren't on there.
it's not that I don't like it. It's not that I don't like it. I just, why?
There are many reasons why that book was deep.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
whatever. Okay, so Chessie is here today to talk about her newest book, which comes out at the end of this month. Actually, next week, the week after this episode posts, March 28th, right?
Yes.
Sure. Is your newest book Greymist Fair?
Woo! Yes.
And it is a Grimm's, lesser known Grimm's retelling. And I'll have you give a synopsis in a minute, but how have you been?
I have been great. Thank you for asking. So say we did the Station 11 episode back in the fall, right?
I think it was up in November. So
yes,
it was either October or November that you and I filmed together. Yeah.
Yeah. Since then, I've been working on a bunch of different stuff and getting ready for this to come out. Okay, so I will tell you that I am doing some more work with some like anxiety related comics.
Yeah.
And I am currently working on a cyberpunk Count of Monte Cristo retelling. It has not been bought, anything. That's just I'm just working on it.
I'm fucking here for it, man. I'm fucking here for it.
That sounds amazing. Cyberpunk isn't really my thing, but that sounds amazing.
It is.
You know who it makes me think of? Neil Gaiman.
Yeah. Ooh. Yep. No, I can see that.
Oh, this has Gaiman vibes too.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Does it? Oh, okay.
I love that. I love Gaiman.
Yeah.
No. Every time you're sketching Monster Sea and it's in your stories, I'm like, girls, hurry, Chessie!
Yes.
That's the only thing my kids ask me every time I mention you. Has she is Monster Sea coming yet?
Oh, that's
coming yet?
This is what my brain asks me every day I wake up. Like, is it Monstrous Sea time yet? Is it time?
Monstrous Sea now!
Monstrous Sea
now!
No, it is not time yet, but maybe soon? Who knows?
Don't dangle that carrot.
I dangle the carrot in front of other people because it's been dangled in front of me for like 20 years.
Mother porkers. Listen, y'all know I'm mean and scary. I will find her a new publisher.
I love that she thinks she has that kind of power.
I'm mean. I have that mean mom vibe that scares people into just saying yes to me.
So I have to tell a funny story. I posted our marketing for March of the episodes we were doing and tagged you in us doing Greymist Fair. And I get a message from you. Hey, have we already filmed this?
Oh, yeah.
Did we schedule this? I don't remember what we're doing. And I'm like, I'm like, this is the best message ever. I'm like,
because
I just
one of us would do
the day before. Are you still cool to do it? You're like, absolutely, let's do it.
I was so okay. So I was at an anime convention at the time. I was at KatsuCon, and I was so out of it with like all the stuff we were doing. And you posted having fun, doing costumes. You posted that, and I was like, I got super excited. I was like, oh yeah, podcast! I can't wait. And then I was like, wait a second, did we already film this? And what I was remembering was filming Station 11.
Station 11, in which we talked about Greymist Fair in Station 11.
Exactly. And so I was like, wait a minute. Did we? And then I had to text you really quick, like, oh my God, did I forget? Did we reschedule this? Where is it on my calendar? And you were like,
in your costume at con, you're like, it's fine. I can do it this weekend. It's fine. It's fine. I can get out of this costume in no time. It's fine.
Did we schedule it for this?
You're like looking for your boyfriend in the crowd, and like you're like, it's fine. Everything is okay. Everything's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, we're good. She said, not yet. Okay, yeah.
Okay. It's like 2 weeks. Okay. Okay. No, we're more pictures, everybody. Let's go. Okay.
Everything's fine. Shots.
I screenshot it and sent it to Molly, and I was just like, this is the best.
I was like,
why we love you.
I so hope they don't think that I am just like, I so hope that you didn't think that I didn't care, because I was like, I cared so much.
So it just made me laugh. It just made me laugh. I screenshot it and sent it to Molly.
What's your go-to convention costume then?
Well, right now, okay, so I technically have two. The first one that I did was a mostly bought costume. It was entirely bought, actually. And it was Hilda from Pokemon Black and White.
Yeah.
Which is like the female Pokemon trainer from that.
Uh-huh.
And then the one that I've made is Vex from Critical Role.
Oh.
If either
I know what Critical Role is. I don't know the characters though.
Let me see.
Wait, is that no, that's not.
Hold on. Let me see if I can bring up a picture of her. You can keep talking if you like.
I think my husband knows. Like, I think he was just talking to me about this.
I know Katie's kids know what Critical Role is.
I don't know.
That's the best I can do.
I'm starting a Pokemon club at the library. So
that's nice.
Very nice.
I know. I'm super excited. I just want
to
school some little kids on Pokemon. That's really all it is.
I don't know. Those little kids, they might school you sometimes.
It's true. It's true, probably.
I don't know if you guys can see this.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
She's an archer. She's got a long braid.
Nice.
She's cool. I love her.
Nice.
But anyway, I was actually watching a TikTok of somebody who taught like a games class online, and they did a lot of Pokemon stuff. And apparently their kids thought that the Pokemon Delibird was pronounced Delibird because it's a play on deliver, like presents.
Oh.
And being a person who has been playing Pokemon since the original games came out, those children are wrong, and they should be ashamed of themselves. That's all I have to say.
You need to speak to their parents. I
will shame children over being incorrect at Pokemon and being confident about it.
I shame children just because. I'm
a children's librarian, so I love kids. They're also kind of annoying.
I love some kids.
I love certain kids. Yeah.
Close enough.
Right. Good answer. So did you want to give us a synopsis, or did you want me to?
Yeah, I can do it. And if you think I leave anything out, just feel free to pop it in there.
You wrote it, so you should know what it's about.
That's the thing. I know what it's about, but sometimes I can't explain it very well to other people.
I've read this, and my daughter's read this, and we've had a conversation about it, and I'm not 100% sure I know what it's about.
I do. I feel like I know what it's about.
So, Greymist Fair is it's an anthology of stories that are retold lesser-known Grimm's fairy tales. And it follows a few different, like each story has a different narrator, but the main character is a girl named Heike, who is the village's tailor. And in the very first story, she goes into the woods to try to have a communication with the supposed witch that lives in the woods in order to investigate a murder that she happened upon on the road. And so the whole book is kind of about this mystery of what's going on in this town. There are some weird things happening. There are murders. There are disappeared children. There are like strange magical events happening. And it all kind of culminates at the end in a very, very dark Christmassy vibe.
Very much so.
Yeah. It's like very the opposite of a Downton Abbey Christmas special.
Wait. Hold on. Explain that. I've seen Downton Abbey, but like I don't remember.
I don't get
Christmas.
Okay, before I say that, do you know how they actually define Shakespeare's comedies versus Shakespeare's tragedies?
Comedies are like they have like a happy outcome.
Everybody gets married.
Everybody gets married.
That's the answer. Everybody gets married.
And then the tragedies, everybody dies, right?
Everybody dies. Okay.
So
yes.
In Downton Abbey, everything is Christmassy and snowy and wonderful, and people are literally getting engaged.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Picture that, but with a really creepy ass forest.
Yes. Yeah, that's it. It's just everybody's having the good that people are getting engaged, and there's a creepy forest surrounding them. They're in a dark, magical wood.
Right.
Solid.
Which is like my aesthetic. It's like, I'm happy, but I'm in a gloomy place, which makes me happier.
Me.
This is why
I'm going to be happy about it, but I'm going to yell at you for it.
You have just defined Molly and I.
I know so many people who are just, that's the vibe. It's like, I want to be happy and cozy, but I want everything around me to be a little bit like gloomy and like quiet and mystical.
I want you to question if I'm going to stab you or hug you.
Yeah. Exactly.
I like to say I'm purple in shades of gray. So, it could be any color of purple, but there's always some shades of gray in there.
Yes.
Well, no,
yes.
I wear all the colors, but my heart is black.
My heart is black. And sometimes it has a little oil slick sheen to it, so it turns like purple or green or blue.
And there's my rainbow.
Yeah, it's a rainbow.
It's a rainbow. It's just made of an oil spill. It's fine.
Fine.
I was raised in a chemical spill. It's fine.
It could light on fire at any moment.
It's
flammable. It's fine.
We don't know.
It's fine.
So the book comes out on March 28th, correct?
Yes.
And this is your 6th book? Is that correct?
Fifth. This will be the 5th book. So technically, if we're counting The Children of Hypnos on Wattpad, it's technically the 7th, but we don't count that because it's not like traditionally published.
I would count that.
You know what that bell's for? The bullshit you just spilled. You don't talk bad about my friend who's a fucking author.
Top shelf author. Top shelf
author.
Yes, my husband.
I do have my bell sitting here.
Oh, nice.
That's my girl.
Got mine too. I didn't think we'd need it this episode. My husband
maybe
once told me, like a few months ago, told me that he feels like a library should be organized like liquor stores, so top shelf should be the best. And I was like, that would never work because everybody's opinion's different, but that's how I organize my library.
So, this is true. I mean, like your personal library, you can do whatever you want. I'm pretty sure mine, so it's not quite the same, but that far shelf is my favorite fantasy books.
Yes.
Well, okay, Daughter of Smoke and Bone is down there, but I would put it up there if there was more room.
Gotcha.
See, all my series are up top, and then the rest Piper did, because I live with an OCD teen.
And no matter how you organize your books, once again, it is not okay to put them so you spine in, because that's nonsense. And color coding, making it look all rainbowy. What the fuck? How do you find anything? How do you find anything?
I know that it's pretty. I know it's pretty. It's wrong. It's wrong.
So wrong.
I'm just gonna laugh.
We'll die on that hill.
I can laugh at you guys because y'all are taking that a little too personal.
I will. You know what?
I will die on that hill too.
I don't take many things personal. The only things that I go real hard on opinions are things that don't matter at all. And so it's like, color coding your bookshelf. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things.
Okay, but
it's wrong.
But okay, a series like ACOTAR right here.
Yeah.
Red, green, pink, blue, black. None of them would be together on the shelf.
No, and that, like, to me, there is something beautiful about having the whole series next to each other and being 100%. Able to see the different book colors.
100%.
I like that.
100%.
But I understand everybody has their own things. If you want to organize your bookshelves by color, whatever.
No, it's because they're all influencers and they need to have their aesthetic.
Has to be about aesthetics. I am an asexual person. I am all about aesthetics. It's wrong. It's wrong.
She's like, don't use my religion against me. Folks. I know. I'm in the Alphabet Mafia. You can't use my religion against me.
That's right.
That comes from a bi. There you go.
I'm an ally.
There you go.
Okay, well, I guess we should probably ask you some questions about this.
Maybe, I don't know. If you want to, you don't have to.
I feel like we did just
come to hang out, but
I mean, that's fine with me.
We should. Too. I mean, the whole reason you came is like because he gave us a book. You want to talk
about it. I think maybe the listeners might want to hear something about it. So
I mean, you want to sell it, right?
That's like I would like to sell copies of this book. That would be very nice.
Yes, yeah. And we will put the link below to pre-order because you'll have 1 week before it comes out. And I did see on your website if they pre-order from a certain bookstore, they can get stickers and autographs.
Yeah. So if you pre-order from Fables and Fairy Tales Bookshop, and there are links on all my social media on my website to be able to find where to go. If you pre-order from them, they will sign it. I will sign it. I will go to the bookshop and sign it.
No, I want them to sign it for you.
Have them sign it I'll have them sign it as well, just in the bottom.
You're all going to sign it like a list. Francesca, Holland Shipping, Andrea, the manager. We got this.
Yeah. The manager. You will also get, you get a signed copy of the book. You will get an exclusive art card, which is, it's a drawing of Heike that I did. You will get a Greymist Fair sticker, and you will get a bookmark.
Add to cart. Nice. And we have autographed art copies because Chessie sent them to us.
I am
because you're special.
I am disappointed you didn't sign it, Chessie, but whatever.
I thought about it. I think about it every single time, and I'm like, but it'll be. I always worry. I'm like, but if they give it to anybody,
that it's not the official signature. Yeah,
but I think it's worth more. But you know.
But if you sign it to us, Bessie, Chessie, it's special.
Oh, I'll do that next time.
Next one.
I'll do that on the next one. Yeah.
All right, let's start with the questions.
Like real questions, I think.
Okay, you know what? Fuck you, Molly. Okay.
That's the first one of the season.
I don't think so. There's no way that's correct.
Roll the tapes.
All right. This is a different style of book for you. So can you explain your inspiration and tell us more about the Grimm's Tales that you're retelling?
Yes. So this is definitely a different style of book. All my books before this have, mostly been like contemporary fiction. I actually do love writing fantasy and science fiction more. So
that's your
like,
vibe.
What?
That's your vibe.
It's my vibe. And so, like, really the inspiration for this, the earliest spark of inspiration, I was playing World of Warcraft.
Nice.
And I'm not laughing. Girl, same.
I get you. I was playing World of Warcraft. I was in Duskwood. Okay. Which is a zone that's like creepy, dark forest with stuff going on. And I was like, I want to write a story set there. Like this vibe, this stuff going on. This is what I want.
That makes sense. I got what you're saying.
You get it. You get it. I feel like anybody who knows Warcraft and then reads this book will be like, yeah, I see.
I get it now. As soon as you said Duskwood, I was like, Yep.
So at first it was that, and what I couldn't like. I knew I wanted to write a story like that, and I kind of came up with a few initial characters, but I didn't know what the plot was going to be, and I didn't know. It was very vague. And so then after a couple years or so, a long time, I thought one day about like, oh, it'd be kind of fun to do like a retelling of Grimm's fairy tales, like as like an anthology, maybe like short stories, and they all come together. And like maybe I would do like lesser known Grimm's fairy tales, because there are a bunch of retelling books out, but I feel like they're always well known stories.
Yeah,
and so
they're picking the fairy tales that Disney picks too.
The Disney, which is fine, and they're popular for a reason. But I find sometimes with retellings that when it's a story I already know, I get bored because I'm just waiting for them to get through the pieces of it. So I was like, what if
you're going to be disappointed, right? We're always disappointed when somebody tries to take something we love and alter it, and then it doesn't have what we're expecting or we're hoping for from them.
Yeah. And it doesn't have like the right beats, or it doesn't feel like it carries the spirit of the original.
Yeah.
And so when I thought of doing a retelling, I was like, oh, like these two ideas kind of came together with like Grimm's retellings and then this spooky woods feeling thing. And like originally the spooky woods idea was like, there are all these children that live in a castle that is constantly being threatened by the wargs in the woods. And these children grow up there, and eventually like their caretaker dies and they learn to be adults, but as they grow up, they start disappearing or dying. And then eventually like the castle is besieged by these wargs. And the truth is it's about adulthood and coming into adulthood and all that, but there wasn't enough meat there. And so when I brought in the Grimm's fairy tales, it became like there was a structure. It got a structure to it. It got a purpose. And so it became this story about like, I'm taking you through these short stories of all these different kids,
teenagers.
The
road into Grey Mist.
Yeah,
it's literally the road to Grey Mist that Grimm's gave you the road into Grey Mist.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And so like it's all these teenagers who are growing up and coming into adulthood and like learning what it means to be adults and to be like fully formed. And learning the mistakes of the adults who came before them, like of their parents. And that was when like it really came together, and I was like, that's what this book is. Okay.
And I like how it's nonlinear. This book is nonlinear, so you do see the kids grow up, but you see them grow up in a nonlinear timeline. And I think that was really cool. And I liked the way that you wove the stories together. Like, I'm not going to give any spoilers because this comes out next week and everyone should go pre-order it. Go pre-order it.
Right now. Oh, wait.
But the stories all weave together. And I love if you're going to write an anthology, there's two ways to do it, right? So there's an anthology that's like, it's literally a collection of stories, and some English major in college is going to have to buy it for their lit class.
Yes.
Or it's an anthology where these stories work together to like come to an actual point. And for this one, that's, them learning to be adults, basically. And they all do have to grow up for various reasons. So, and there were really interesting connections that I didn't see coming. So, Cats and Jammer was your book that came out last year, and you came and talked to us. That was their first time on the pod. So I kind of want to know about your process compared to Cats and Jammer. Did you feel like you had a similar process? Was it completely different?
So writing Cats and Yammer was weird because I did it during NaNoWriMo one year. It was while I was still in college. And that book came out so fast. Like, it came out of my brain so fast. It took like a couple of hours for me to like fully conceptualize the whole thing. And then like a month to write it. Now, granted, it sat around for a few years and got edited several times because like I wrote it in like I graduated college in 2015. So I think I wrote it in 2014. So obviously came out in 2022. That was a long time to edit it. Greymist Fair, I probably started with the original idea for it like mid-college, probably around the same time, but like it sat for so long.
Yeah.
And went through like a couple iterations. There was like a stop and a start. It was just a much longer kind of like percolating process. And I think you can probably tell in here that like it is
a mature
to me, this is a softer story. Like
your voice is mature.
Yes.
You're more grown. And I mean this with all the love. This isn't you compared to Eliza.
Yeah, and I think like
you know what I mean?
I mean, Eliza is still like one of my favorite books ever, so like it's always going to be, it's a sacred one for me.
Right.
But I can see how, even though you didn't write them in like that timeline, I can see how your voice has grown between just these 3 books.
Yes.
And I will tell you something funny. I wrote Katzenjammer before I wrote Eliza.
I know. Yeah.
I wrote Katzenjammer before Eliza, and I wrote this I wrote in March of 2020, like after the pandemic started.
Yeah.
Because I was at home and I was like, okay, we're doing it. We're going. It was like March, April 2020.
Timing finally lined up.
Well, and what happened was I read the book One More Thing. I think it's One More Thing by BJ Novak. Do I have it in here?
Yeah.
And that's a collection of like vignettes and short stories and things. And what that book did has nothing to do with this, but what that book did was kind of help me conceptualize how the short stories would work and how they all fit together. Yeah. And that was when I was like, I know how to write this book now.
Yeah.
And it all just came out.
Isn't that funny how something so off the wall will affect that process?
Yes.
I was watching an episode of Grey's once and I was like, ha! I figured it out. And I was like in the middle of writing that post-apocalyptic book April. Am I like the one with the bunker and that batshit crazy one? I was like,
oh, no, that one. Okay, gotcha.
My one with the bad timeline.
Yeah.
I figured out how to finish the book on that. Like, from a Grey's episode, and it had nothing to do with anything.
And that's why it's so important for writers. This is like a great piece of writing advice. If you are struggling to figure something out, put it down, walk away, go do something completely different. Like,
this is what I tell young writers. Remember, Lin-Manuel Miranda started Hamilton, got writer's block, put it down, wrote In the Heights, got freaking a Tony for it, then decided to just randomly pick Hamilton back up. You don't, magic doesn't come from the pen overnight.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Exactly.
And if
it takes time.
If you are new to our pod and you're checking us out because, you know, Chessie's here, thank you for coming. But
hi!
You might not know this, but Molly is a writer and I'm a librarian. And so part of what we do here is we have different perspectives on the books because she talks about books like a writer and I talk about books like a consumer. That's actually how Molly describes our pod. Not how I describe it, but that's how Molly describes it.
Because it's true. I will defend an author's work and I sometimes will pick it apart. Like, I was looking at this because there's a part of me that feels like something's missing. Like, because when you say Grimm's, I want to fill in, right? Because Grimm's does that, right? There's the all-inclusive. It's beginning to end. But the more you look at it and the way you have the stories mapped out, there is no filler. Yeah. This is it. And your brain has to do the filling. Yeah. And that's kind of the fucking point of it. And that's brilliant.
And when I got to Dr. Death, so I read this book in a day, everybody. I sat down and I literally read for the entire day. It was wonderful. And by the way, I'm still doing the reading challenge for To Write Love on Our Arms. I'll put the link below. You can still sponsor me, or you can just go and start your own challenge and read to support this awesome organization. But I read in an entire day. And when I got to Dr. Death, I literally went, oh, it was that moment for me where I was like, oh my gosh, this is where we are, because I was enjoying all the together, stories. Yeah, but that's where it really
yes, I love it.
That's, I will say, with no spoilers, I will say that Dr. Death is my favorite story in the book.
Mine too.
And writing Dr. Death was the one that, like, I mean, every time I went back and edited it, every time I had to do anything with it, I would make myself cry.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, valid.
But like, it was the story that when I wrote it, I was like, that's what this book is about.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's it. Like, that's everything is encapsulated in this story right here.
That was definitely the aha moment that I was just like, oh yeah, that's it. And it was very satisfying. It was the same thing with Katzenjammer. When we read Katzenjammer, and I'm not going to give away that one either, but you can go back and listen to our episode from last year, and you can buy Katzenjammer still. When we got to that reveal at the end of that, I was like, holy shit, this is where we went. Yeah. And I was just like, blown away. I mean, it's the same thing with Eliza, to a lesser extent, because it's not as dark. But when we get to what Wallace's story is, I was like, oh my gosh, she's been telling us this the whole time. Like, it's been there the whole time. And my second reading of Eliza, I was like, oh, it's literally on the first page that this happened. Yeah. So I love that. Like, that to me, that's why I keep coming back to your books, because it's that reveal that's so satisfying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think I've had a lot of people say that, like, my books can be, and this is not, I don't, like, this is fine if people think this, it's no problem for me at all, that my books can start a little slow and take a little while to get going.
They do build up.
Which is totally fine. And it's true, because I like books that do that. Mm-hmm. I when I'm reading a book, I like to get to settle in with things a little bit. I want there to be something interesting going on, but like, I want to get into them so that when those big things come at the end or at the climax or wherever, like, when everything comes together, you get that, like, that feeling of wholeness from the story.
Yeah.
And you really feel like you took it all in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So we've already, sorry, go ahead, Molly.
I will say Dr. Death wasn't my favorite story. My favorite story was
you're
The
wrong.
Prince. Okay. But the reason it's my favorite is because I'm a spiteful woman, and the ending of The Prince.
Princess Riddle. I loved writing that one. I was like, this is going to be so good.
When I was reading it.
So excited to do it.
When I was reading it, I'm like, oh, yeah, she did.
Yeah, she did. Well, and then like, it's hard for me to pick a favorite story, but like, I also love The Secret of Grey Lake because of how it ties in with the Prince's Riddle, and like,
that's Liv's favorite.
Yeah, and that's it's like, I got so excited to write that part, and like, that character's arc, and like, I think he's one of my favorite characters in the book, because he's so like, he is that character that I feel like I put in every book. Like, he is the Time from Katzenjammer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That character.
Yes. Yes.
An unnecessary need.
Yes.
So we kind of already talked about what your inspiration was for, like, setting, but I do not play World of Warcraft. I've never played it, but I've been to the Black Forest, which is where a lot of the Grimm tales are they're based, like Hansel and Gretel. That's the forest it's based on. So that's what I was picturing the whole time, because the forest sits, well, it's actually up a hill, so it's not exactly what you had here, but the village sits at the bottom of the forest, and it's this small town. It's called Fussen, and it's in Germany. It's very south, and Fussen is also where the Neuschwanstein Castle is, which is what Cinderella's castle was based off of.
Yes.
And so I backpacked Europe in college because I did a study abroad, and we took a month and we went just everywhere. And I wanted to see the Neuschwanstein Castle. And so we're like, oh, let's hike the Black Forest. And I was with two people who, like, legit hike.
I'm not.
Do not hike.
Yeah.
I meander.
That can get rough.
I wander.
So, And
fine cheese.
And the Molly. And the Black Forest is on a hill. Like, you're hiking up. So my travel companions decided that I was too slow, and they just sort of ditched me. And the reason that the Black Forest got such a reputation as being kind of scary is because it is very easy to get lost in.
It is very scary, she says.
Can confirm that it is very easy to get lost in. Even today, well, I mean, this was in 2003 that I was there, but I mean, I was broad daylight and, you know, modern day, and it's still very easy to get lost in.
I brought up pictures of the Black Forest on my computer because I would die to go there. I would love to go see the Black Forest. And I remember when I was at my full-time job, I did have a picture, like the background of my computer was the Black Forest. I have never seen it myself, but that is what I'm picturing in my mind.
Okay, just good. Me too.
The tall trees, the kind of like
Book Besties and Chessie field trip.
Oh my God, yes.
We'll bring Nurse Katie. Don't worry, we'll bring Nurse Katie.
Nurse Katie, we can bring my boyfriend. He's been there before. Like, let's go.
Matt. Nice. That'll keep us out of trouble.
I guess we can bring Tom.
No, he's gonna get us into trouble. That counteracts the Matt.
So that is what I pictured the whole time. I was picturing the Black Forest. I was picturing that uneasiness that I felt as a 21-year-old hiking through a forest by myself. Like, it was really creepy. But
yes.
Speaking of, is it okay if I show the map?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
we love a map here.
I did.
Is this yours?
I did make the map. Yes.
So, as those of you who have read along with us,
not Francesca this book Zappia because it's fucking not out yet, guys.
Is a bit of an artiste as well.
Artiste.
And did you do the spot art with the chapters? And
hold on. So the spot art in the arcs, you're talking about the
the chapter divisions.
These title pages.
Yeah.
No, these were taken from the cover. These are like this little part of the cover up here. This cover, beautiful cover, was done by Julia Iredale.
Gorgeous.
Absolutely gorgeous cover.
And it does say her name on the back. I knew that. So
yes. However, in the final copy, there will be story-specific chapter headers for every story that I did.
Oh my gosh.
I'm very happy with them. They go with every story. I really like the one for Wolf Children. It's the knife from Wolf Children.
Nice.
Nice.
Yes. So there will be extra art in the finished hardback copy of the book.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so all of these stories sort of center around Heike. I say it right?
Sort of.
Yes.
And what do you love about this character?
Oh, about Heike? Heike is the fairy tale character that I've always wanted to write because she is like, so originally she was a baker and my editor was like, they are always bakers. Don't make her a baker. And I was like, okay, she'll be a tailor. And immediately from that, it was like the clothes she makes are magic.
Yes.
And she learned it from her mother. And like, she was really this character she was always this character who was like, in that original version of the story where there were all the kids growing up in the castle, she was the youngest. She was the most innocent of them, I guess. And like, she was the one, she and Wenzel, the other kind of main character, were the ones still alive at the end who kind of did the best, like, against the coming adulthood and what that meant.
Right.
And so like, she was always the first character who kind of reached that level of maturity and understanding about what had come before her and what it meant for herself and like the town and everybody around her.
She reminds me so much of Kat.
Yeah.
She's like the magical version of her. Like, I can picture her slinking around the woods.
Yes, yeah. Like, it is. I think I do love those characters who, like, I mean, first of all, they have their own agency, or they get their own agency very early on, and, like, they are kind of in a world of their own.
Yeah.
Like, even Kat, who was in stuck in a school with all these other students, she was kind of in her own world compared to even all the rest of them. I mean, I feel like Heike is sort of the same way. She learns very early on that, like, there is a different world than the one she has always lived in, and she's part of it, and it's important that she learn how to interact with it.
Yeah. I really like her her growth in this story of who she starts, and I mean, Molly and I pose this question a lot on this pod: is the character a hero? Because, for example, we covered Twilight, and no, Bella is not a hero. She is a pawn in a story of werewolves and vampires.
Yeah,
but literally, Heike is a hero. Like, this is, like, her and Wenzel, their story together. I mean, it's a good story together, but, like, she's a hero. She's like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do what my mother was doing. And I'm going to lead the charge. We are going to make it better.
There was... Go ahead.
I would argue this, like, if we were reading this as a regular book and Chess wasn't here, couldn't you also argue that she's a hero of convenience like Katniss then?
But I don't agree with you that Katniss is a hero of convenience. We've had that discussion before.
We have, and we still argue it's an off and on discussion.
Oh man, now I want to get into this. Define hero of convenience to me.
She is only a hero because she has to be, right?
Okay.
I don't agree. I don't agree.
She's a hero because she has to be. Katniss would have never volunteered for anybody other than her sister. You're telling me if she was stuck in this village and everything was hunky-dory, she would magically become a hero? No. She is a hero because she has to be.
Molly, she was a hero before she fought in the Hunger Games because she was keeping her family alive.
Because she had to be! Because her dad died!
She did not have to do that. That was not her job. She was not the grown-up.
Her mother was literally paralyzed.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There were other options to her.
I have opened a Pandora's box. Oh man.
This has been going on.
I also have thoughts on this, but, like, I don't want to sidetrack things.
This has been going on since 2010.
Oh, we literally read the books around the same time. I can't remember which one of us read them first, but we read them around the same time. And we went to see the first movie together, and it was our second viewing of the first movie, and we still jumped when the motherfucking beast came out at the end. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. And then laughed audibly loud and got shushed by the people in front of us.
This is true. That's accurate.
I will put a temporary end to this discussion by saying that I think Katniss is kind of both. I think at times... I think she is a
easy way out, Chessie.
I think at times she's a hero, and I think at times she's a hero of convenience because she has to be, and it's situational. But for Heike, there is definitely, like, I don't think she had to be the one to go into the forest.
That's why she's not a hero, because she would had to. Like, you don't think so, huh? She volunteered.
Yeah, to go into the forest?
She didn't have to, though.
But, they were going to make her, weren't they?
No.
Wait, let's reference.
I don't think
so. That's the woman that wrote it! She's like, I'm going to check the book because I've written...
Let me refer to the source material that I wrote.
I love
this. Is in my head, but I'm going to check it just in case, because maybe your copy's different from mine. Maybe they changed the story on me.
Well, maybe they did say that she had
okay, so
okay. Maybe I'm an idiot and don't know how to read anymore.
Well, that's not true. I think I'm in the right place.
So they were all going to go. They were going to send, like, out a search party to find the witch.
And then she was like, they're going to make me go by myself eventually. I might as well go, right?
They said, who's volunteering? Heads turned and looked around at, like, different people who thought,
right,
like, people who usually went into the woods. Heike feels guilt and responsibility.
Yeah.
They don't say. Hold on.
I was just getting that vibe. I'm just assuming your words now. That's cool.
Okay, so now some other people, after she volunteers, some other people are like, "Yeah, let her go."
But first, they question it. Like,
they do.
They're like, "Why would you think it would work? Like, what is it about you?" Like So I don't know. Whatever.
I would say like Wenzel is definitely. I think Wenzel does fit your hero thing. Heike. Personally, I think Heike does fit it.
I love that you engaged in this with me. I love that you took the time to engage in this with me. You had no need to like humor me in any of this, and you're like, "Yeah, it's fine, Molly. Whatever."
I will absolutely. This is the thing. I can't talk. It is so hard for me to find people in my daily life who want to talk to me like in real deep critical terms about books and stories.
We're your gals, man.
I will engage with anything.
So, I don't know.
As long as we can disagree, I'm good.
Oh yeah. We literally have made a podcast on it.
Right. I mean, I bothered. Okay, so sidetrack. I messaged Chessie personally the other day for my own writing. So,
yeah.
Which is because like it's copyright. Which I actually have a question about this. So when we get to the writing questions, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, I messaged her after we finished filming tomorrow and was like, "You have to read this book. Have you read it yet?"
And I went out and bought it. I have not read it yet. I am currently.
Slow your speed.
Step 1 is complete.
Slow your speed.
I today in like 2 hours I read Legends and Lattes.
We're reading that later this season.
It's very good.
Yes!
It's delightful.
Yes.
It's delightful.
Molly is convinced that I don't like the books that have lesbians in them, which is just because the ones that we've read have not been good.
I feel you. This one is good.
Well, you're welcome to join us if you want, Chess.
For sure. Come hang out.
Come hang out. You're always welcome.
Anyway, so yes, tomorrow is sitting on my desk to be read.
All right, you have to message us when you finish.
Yes, we need to know.
I will.
All right.
And then we'll listen to your episode about it.
Nice. Always listen to the episode.
Always listen to the episode.
All right. So, gosh, we're just so off my plan.
We are.
I work today, so my brain is like, do.
And you gotta work tomorrow.
Wait, that's the Wizard of Oz. That's not what I meant. I meant circus music.
You just got the Wicked Witch flying around in the tornado. Cackling. I think it still applies.
I don't even know what we're doing.
Okay. How about I go into the writing questions? Huh?
Well, this question is a writer question, but it's one I wrote. So, can we talk about your process a little bit with this? I guess maybe you did, but you tend to be a pantser, right?
A little bit. I think, you know what? I think it really is like, and I know there are words for this. I think it might be like gardener or something like that. But like, basically what I do is I make an outline for a story, or like half an outline, and I know what the ending is. Mm-hmm. And then as I write, I let things kind of come up organically, and then I fill out the rest of the outline.
So this one had like a lot of moving parts. So did you have to keep a timeline or?
Yes. So I basically, like, I knew all the characters. So I had fleshed out the cast of characters. I knew who was in, I knew which Grimm's fairy tales I was doing, which is, I just wrote this out again today. It was The Shroud, a little bit of Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah.
Clever Hans, The Wolf and the Seven Young Children, The Fisherman and His Wife, The Riddle, Godfather Death. Is that all of them?
Yeah,
it might be all of them.
Right.
No idea.
Anyway, I think that's all.
That sounds like they match up. Yeah.
But and some of the stories are like multiples combined.
Yeah.
Because
but you can see them, as you're leaving them off. I'm like, yeah, I know where that came from. Yeah. I know where that came. It's that activity in school, you know, where you're like, match the picture with
match them. Yes. And then Heike and Wenzel's stories. Yes, Heike and Wenzel's stories are not based on anything. They're their own things, which is why they bookend it. Mm-hmm. So I knew I had the structure of the book laid out, and then I had like a quick synopsis of what happened in each part. And then basically it was actually surprisingly simple to write because I was just writing short stories. Mm-hmm. So I knew basically what was happening in each one. And a lot of it got kind of worked together in the editing. So it was like at one point there's a stampede of like elk or deer through the village. And it was like that happens at a certain point that in one story it's happening in the middle, and then in another story it happens at the beginning.
Yeah.
And like in one story a character references it happening. Mm-hmm. And so like it was actually, because of the order of the stories, it was actually pretty easy in my mind to keep it straight when things were happening. And like, I really thought it was going to be more complex to write. Yeah. And it wasn't.
Well, so that's lovely.
It was, yeah.
Got it. That's a win.
Yeah. Seriously, it is.
It really is. Like writing Made You Up, my first book, was harder to do than writing this.
But you also wrote that while you were in high school.
I did write that. That one was Frankenstein together from like 6 different stories. So that's a whole different ball of wax.
This is my. Go ahead, keep going.
So Greymist Fair is sort of like a utopian society. Would you describe?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. So everyone's sort of living in harmony except the wargs and one other character, a couple other characters. But we learn that there's like an evil lurking in this village in the form of 2 characters in particular. So how was it for you to write that kind of violence and anger?
So, I mean, like, I think I really love this question too, by the way, because like, it is different from writing it in this versus writing it in something like Cats and Yammer. Because Cats and Yammer was just all anger and like hatred and awful violence and stuff. And this is like, you have this place that is so kind of idyllic and everybody just kind of tries to get along, and they work off of like barter systems and exchange of goods and stuff. And then you have like this horrifically like dark one of the characters, and it's like, to me it was like when I was writing the story where you find out what's been going on with that part, it's like you see where the real kind of dark underbelly of everything is, and it's not in the woods. Like the call is coming from inside the house. Yes. Like, and it's like, it's not this nebulous idea of whatever you fear on the outside that's the real danger. It's the people, it's the things inside that you already know.
It's such a great metaphor for life, though. The danger is always more likely next door than it is out there in the big world.
I mean, if someone dies, the first person they connect to it is usually the spouse. I mean, it's always the people closest to you that really,
have a reason to do it. Like,
and the means.
And like, and in this, it's like, it's the things that you stop questioning that are the ones that'll get you.
Well, why wouldn't your neighbors be safe? Everybody's trading goods. Everyone cares about each other. They're working for the common good. Why wouldn't you be able to trust them?
Right, exactly.
It's definitely the witches. Definitely the witches.
It's definitely the witch. She's evil. I don't like her.
For sure. 100%.
I heard her talking to Goody Alsop under the new moon.
Can't go talking to Goody.
Goody's husband died 2 days after she got married. Can you believe that?
Did you just turn the Crucible into a Valley Girl?
What an amazing interpretation. What an amazing interpretation.
Oh my God, hold on.
Could we do this? High School Valley Girls 1980 Crucible.
Valley Girl retellings of classics.
Okay, you and I are going to talk about this later off because this is something you and I definitely should do together.
I'm just saying, like, we should. Valley Girl, you know how fast those would get read?
They would.
This is like SparkNotes Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Yes! Do you know how much my kids love that shit?
Yes, I loved it in high school. I was like, this is what I need. This is getting me into Shakespeare.
Well, you know, right now they have OMG Shakespeare where it's all text. My kids love that shit.
Because it, like, you can, I know that people are going to be like, you're dumbing it down. You're taking all the literary merit out of it. And it's like, but if you can get them to understand this story and to get engaged with it, I don't care how it's written.
They obviously don't understand.
Imagine Marie Antoinette. Like, I don't understand why they don't want the cake I gave them. Like,
why don't they want this? I don't understand.
I don't understand why they're dragging me out here in my dress. It's so pretty.
Okay, well, they obviously don't understand the point of Shakespeare if they think that dumbing it down is putting it in the vernacular of the kids that are reading it now, because Shakespeare wrote for the common people of his time.
Mm-hmm.
But I still maintain that can't understand it. But I would still maintain that that's not the apocalypse story that continues on, like Station 11. We're not going to have the Shakespeare.
No, I don't think. It's like, you know what? I think we talked about this during the Station 11 episode too, but you know why the Shakespeare was the one that survived is because it was theater kids performing
100%. Yep. You know, because they're...
Sorry, theater kids listening to this. Right. Sorry, all my theater kid friends.
I'm not. I love you guys, but, like, what did you guys do in high school? Hump. Like, come on. We know what you guys did. You were the slutty group. We all know that. You slept with each other.
Molly!
Whoa! Woo!
You guys didn't know this? Like, that's all the theater kids did.
I love that the cheerleader is calling the theater kids.
Because I was also a fucking theater kid.
Do you see how she treats
Takes one
me?
to know one.
Do you see how she treats me?
I see it.
And
okay, I'm not going to ask this next question.
I really quick, I love this because I can take both sides in any fight, and it doesn't matter. I'll just switch sides.
It's cool. It's cool.
The point is to keep us fighting.
Yeah. It's more entertaining.
Are you a middle child?
No, I'm the youngest.
Oh well, that
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
The focus is on her.
They're not looking at me.
And she can sneak out the fucking back door.
Yeah. I was the youngest of three, so make them fight.
That's exactly what this is right here.
Good call.
Let them fight.
Anyway, I'm not going to ask the second part of this question unless you've read it, because I don't know if that's spoilery. Question 7, the second part.
Okay.
Is that spoilery? Because I don't have to ask it.
You can phrase it in a way that's not spoilery. So
I have no idea how to do that.
if you just say, are the people in Greymist Fair unknowingly eating little boys?
Yes, are they?
No.
Oh, well, that would have been so much darker.
Right. I was like, let's not go. Someone's doing it.
I literally went.
Everybody, no.
I literally went, oh my gosh.
It is not a Cartman feeding Scott Tenorman's parents to him.
I was like, it's Soylent Green as people.
Soylent Green as people. No, it is not that situation. Thankfully. I was like, that's probably a little too dark for this book.
Oh, but it would have been good. All right. Well, that's all my questions. Molly, what do you got? Molly has some writer questions for you.
So I want to talk to you about editing process. Now, do you edit yourself or do you have an editor?
So, so after I finish a draft of a book, I usually reread the entire book like the next day. Mm-hmm. Then I set it and like make any changes I want to make. Then I set it aside for like a month.
Yeah.
And then I read it again and edit it again. Then if I have any critique partners or anybody that I want to read it, I send it to them and get their notes back and do any edits. And then I send it to my agent who does edits if she thinks that we should go on submission with it.
Interesting.
Then when we sell it, we do edits with the HarperCollins editor.
Got you. Because I know some authors prefer their own editors, right? They have editors that they like to work with, that they reach out to work with. So every process is different for everyone. So that's why I was wondering. Because some editors some authors prefer certain editors. They claim it, they'll say it helps them mold their voice, right? It helps them finish their voice off and sand it. Like, like a rock in a turn thing, it's just like shining it up. So I was interested.
Do you usually have the same editor?
So for all my books, yes, because my editor, my editor is Virginia Duncan with Green Willow. So she edits all of mine. Virginia, hi Virginia, if you ever listen to this.
Well, tell her to.
I should. Be like, hey Virginia, here's some links. Go listen to this.
And then she's gonna hear us talking about Valley Girl Crucible, and she's gonna be like, Jesus Christ, Chessie, what did you sign me up for?
She's gonna be like, I can buy that when. But I think when we talk about like editors that help shape your voice and help make things get things into shape, my agent and her assistant are really the ones who do that for me.
Nice. It's like they know you or something.
And have you had
it's like they know me.
Have you had the same one since the first book?
Yes. So I signed on with Louise. It's Louise Fury. I signed on with her in the summer of 2012, which was
no relation to Nick Fury.
Ha! I had to think for a second. No, her husband's name is Sean. But
I would hope not, since he's a fictional character in Marvel.
No. Is she related to Samuel L. Jackson? No. So she, like, I've been working with her since the summer of 2012. So it's been 11 years now, almost.
Damn.
And she knows my books. She knows what I like to write. She knows, like, they have a running joke, her and her assistant, that like every time I give them a new manuscript, there's going to be at least one name in it that her assistant is just like, what is this? What is this name? Change this. Like Wallace Warland. That one got her. I think Wenzel may have done it too. She's like, what's with the W names? I'm like, I'm not changing it.
No, because you're going to get that audiobook narrator that pronounces them with the huh or the whoo sound, you know? Would you like some
well, Wenzel was Wallace in Greymist Fair. Like, copy paste. That's how I pictured him.
He's a little stringier. He's a little...
Well, not in my head. I know you wrote him, but that's not how I pictured it.
Please, imagine him how you please.
I just had one more question. I want to talk about copyright. So that was part of our conversation. So I had reached out to Chessie Gang about my book because I'm doing a thing like Marvel where my characters have matching names. And I realized that one of my characters is named Corky Collins, which is a very niche name. And if you know where that's from, good for you. But my concern was copyright.
Good morning, Baltimore.
Thank you. So my concern was copyright. So Chessie and I had a conversation about it, but it made me think about this. And you're diving into one of the oldest books known to man. Like you were diving into some of the oldest fiction. So how does that work for you? Like, are you stepping on toes? Does your publisher have to get permission from someone because you're like insinuating that it's Grimm's based?
So I believe I'm not 100%. So for example, for like the quote that's in the front of the book, the epigraph, is an actual quote from my copy of Tales of the Brothers Grimm.
Okay.
So, like, for that, because it's a direct quote from a text, they do have to get permission to publish it.
Okay.
For retellings, especially of something like a collection of fairy tales, which are already, like, folk tales that were
passed down,
aren't owned by anybody and are kind of repurposed and are so old that it's kind of like... And I'm changing them so much that there is honestly very little of the original story that's still there.
Yeah.
There's nothing for that. As far as I know, there's nothing for them to get permission to use.
Yeah. Right.
Now, a really interesting thing I've been wondering about, and maybe this has been written about somewhere on the internet, is a book came out called The Weight of Blood. I don't know if you guys have heard about it. It's by Tiffany Jackson, I believe.
Oh, I know Tiffany Jackson. I haven't read that one.
It's a Carrie retelling.
Oh.
And I found that very interesting because I was like, I read it in ebook format and I didn't check the page to see if they had put in like based on the novel Carrie by Stephen King, or like if
inspired
they like
by or whatever.
Inspire like because it's a pretty strict, like the concept is slightly changed because it's about race rather than just like bullying. But it is about bullying, but it's about racially inspired bullying. But I was interested in like what kind of permissions you had to get to do that. Like, do you have to pay Stephen King to use that? Right. Do you have to like what's going on? I'm not sure with that one. But what with most fairy tale stuff, even like because there are so many books that are like it's a retelling of Beauty and the Beast.
I mean, look at Anne Rice. Look at all the ones she did, right? Like she has all the Cinderellas and the Snow Whites, and they're like bodice rippers and all that jazz, right? So
it's there's a lot of that. Yeah,
I watched a video, a Hank Green video, where he talked about his book, An Absolutely Remarkable Thing, which is in my sci-fi section, and they use a song from Queen in it, and the cost of having one line of that song in there was like $100,000 or something like ridiculous. I could be saying it wrong, but it was a lot of money.
If I remember correctly, the part like a good chunk of his advance went to paying for the song so he could use it in the book,
because his editor and his publisher and all the people were like, Are you sure? Are you sure?
And he was like, yes, I need this song.
This needs to be it. This needs to be it.
It's such an important part of it.
Have you read his series?
I haven't.
Well,
no, I haven't.
So good.
They're good. I actually liked the second one better than the first one. I don't think Molly's read the second one yet, but
not yet.
Hate the character's name. Her name is April May, and that's just awful. Like, no.
That's
it's bad. But
as a person who does weird character names, I gotta agree. As
a person whose name is
it's on a different level.
You know what it is? It's a filler name, and he forgot to go back through and hit,
find, replace.
Yeah. Forgot that part.
Well, he paid a lot of money for that, but he's in a totally different ballgame than most first-time authors. Because that was his first book. Yeah. Like, he wasn't. It didn't matter if he made any money off of An Absolutely Remarkable Thing. That's not how he's going to make his income anyway.
Right. And I mean, he's already got the base to sell it. Like,
yeah,
he's got a huge fan base.
He could publish it on his own. He could pull it off of Vlogbrothers' website, and people would still be buying that shit.
Yeah, exactly. If you took like any other debut author, and they're like, "Oh, I want to use this one line from a Queen song," the publisher would be like, "No,
you're done." It could be me right now. Like, I could want to mention a line from. It could be anything, right? And they'd be like, "No, absolutely not. You're not worth the time or effort."
Yeah. And so I would say something like that. Like, if you're worried about copyright on something and you plan on traditionally publishing your book, your publisher will let you know if that costs money, because they will not pay for it. They don't want to pay
for it. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't want to pay for it. Yeah. Unless you're already a big name and they know that your book is going to sell, and you work something out with them like it comes out of your advance or something like that.
Fun fact, speaking of the Green brothers, John Green said... Yes, John Green every season until he comes on the pod. We're manifesting
Get here, John Green.
You know, he lives in the same city as you, Chessie. If you could,
he does. I was in the same room as him once.
I know, you told us, and that is my six levels of separation.
Six degrees of separation.
That's
from John
it.
Green.
That's it for me. He said when Hank was releasing An Absolutely Remarkable Thing, he said it was more of a book than any of the books that he wrote, and I was like, "Excuse me, sir, what?"
The ever-loving hell.
What? No.
I would be interested to hear his reasoning. Sorry, was there more of a was that just an observation, or?
That's what he said. He just said
that's what he said. I would be interested to hear his reasoning.
He didn't give one.
Maybe he has sound reasoning.
Maybe he has a lack of self-esteem.
It could be a lack of self-esteem. My knee-jerk reaction, my gut reaction to that, which is probably unwarranted, is like is it more of a book because it's an adult book and all your books are YA, John Green? Like, not that he's like,
shots fired, everyone.
I would be worried that he is devaluing his own books because they are YA and not adult.
I mean, it's
like, which may not be the case. Like, it could be that he's just building his brother up, which is great. I think
because Hank built a world, like, it's an alt reality. Yeah, it's sci-fi alt reality, and John builds his books in the world that we live in.
But John's is more of a linear
make it less of a book.
But John is more of a linear thought bubble as an author, and Hank is here, and like, I get that as a writer. That's how I write. I mean, that's how, like, my whole outline is bullets.
Yeah,
like, it's just it's all bullets, beginning to end. It's bullets. It makes no sense.
Yeah,
it makes sense to me.
I have written about half of a book, and I never came back.
That's a half.
I wrote it when my son was 1, and he's turning. Well, by the time this episode comes out, he'll already be 10. So,
oh, wow.
I wrote half a book. I wrote a book about a girl who's sort of like reluctant sorority girl, semi-inspired by my time in a sorority. And also for the fact that I read the book Pledged and was watching the show Greek at the same time.
That'll do it.
Word.
I know how the book will end, and I probably will never finish it. Because I've said this before to Molly, but I don't think when you were on here, Chessie, but my grandmother had this dream for me that I would be a writer. And I actually went to school initially for journalism. Like, that's the kind of writing I wanted to do. I like facts and research, which is why I'm a librarian, and that's what we do. But I like getting the story and sharing true stories. But my grandma always had this dream that I would be a writer. And like, I sometimes feel like maybe I failed her because I never became a writer. But
that was her dream.
But instead of writing and putting books out in the world, I hold a key to all the books.
Yes,
and so,
exactly.
Like, today alone, because I worked today alone, I helped 6 different kids find a book.
That's great.
And it was like, a dad walked up to me and was like, what kind of books do you recommend for a 9-year-old? I didn't know if he had a girl, a boy, what that person liked doing, if they were a high reader or a low reader, or if they really hated reading, if they like fiction, nonfiction, if they like graphic novels or chapter books. So we have to go through what we call in the library world the reference interview. And you weed it down, and I ended up recommending Wings of Fire for her.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And she was like, this looks really good. Like,
it is good, dude.
Magic and adventure. And she walked out happy. And her dad was like, thank you so much for taking the time. And I was like, for me, all these books that I read and consume, with the exception of the smut, because I can't really recommend that to kids.
Right.
It's not advisable. I read these books, and then I can share that joy with kids. You can't be a lifelong reader if you don't start at the beginning of your life. So I'm never going to probably never, I mean, maybe, but probably never publish a novel, but I can continue to be a reader who shares that joy with others.
But
that's so important.
That's such a skill, though. I don't have that skill. I can't elevator pitch. And that's like a skill you're supposed to have as an author. I can't elevator pitch.
Yep. Look, I can't elevator pitch. I can't recommend books to people. Like, I try, and I'm like, my problem is that, like,
if I'm you, I'm going, I recommend this one. It has my name on it.
Can't do that either, because I'm like, I like it. It's good.
It has my picture on the back. Read it.
It's like, okay, here, I'll try to explain to you what I'm writing. It's romance. He's a historian, but it's inspired by Indiana Jones, but it's a new woman each book. That's it.
That sounds kind of cool, actually.
That sounds cool, actually. Yeah, I would read that.
And everybody but him has matching names. Sarah Stacy, Lonnie Cuddy.
Oh, they all have alliterative names.
Yes.
Yeah. So like on TikTok, on Book Talk specifically.
Yeah.
Books now are just, it feels like every book is just defined by like the tropes that are in it.
Oh yeah.
Especially with romance, the romance genre getting so big. And so you would think that would make it easier to make content about my books to sell it. And it's like it doesn't, because I'm like, okay, what are the tropes in this? Like childhood friends to lovers, I guess, is one, but like that's not really the point of the story. It's not
untrustworthy neighbor.
Untrustworthy neighbor. But like none of these things are like the point of the story, the way that the tropes are used in the books that are pitched with those. Like it's not what readers who are looking for those tropes are expecting. Right. So I never know how to pitch these things by trope alone.
Right.
That's so why you have your agent. That's what your agent's for.
This is why I have
Chessie.
This is why I go make friends with librarians and readers who can read it and then be like, "This is what it's about," and then go tell other people about it.
We got you, girl.
Word.
That's my boyfriend sits next to me at the signing table, and he talks to people who come up because he can be excited about things in a way that I can't because I don't know how to be, and it's very helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's good to have a partner who's your, biggest cheerleader. That's like my husband is like really doing a lot for Molly and I. Like,
seriously, he's a rock star. He annoys the shit out of me, and I've known him since 2000 and.
Well, you've known him as long as I have, almost. I've only known him a couple months longer than
in the military. Yeah. I used to manage his pay and his records, and now he does it like.
Yeah. And I mean, he doesn't have to do this. He just does it. And he's so supportive.
I think he likes it. I hope he likes doing it.
He does.
It's listening to our stupid asses.
He does.
Well, okay. We're going on an hour 20. We need to wrap
I don't
up.
think we are because of the part we have to cut out. But I just want to say that, I don't know. I don't know what I was
going to say. We love you, Chessie. You're so glad.
I'm really excited about this book. I'm really excited about this book. People go buy it. Like, we're not just saying that because you're our guest. Like, we don't do that.
I have middle schoolers. Yeah. I have a middle schooler read this in less than 24 hours.
Yeah. We have,
and she's a picky reader.
If you're somebody that's listened to the pod before or watched us on YouTube, either one, you know that we are pretty fair with all the books. Like, we've gotten fan suggestions that we're still like, we did not like. I mean,
this. I was honest with Chessie here. Her and I had a very constructive conversation about it.
Yeah. And but we keep having you back because we legitimately love your books. And also
you're really fun to talk to. You're so fun to talk to.
But I mean, I'm just so excited for this one. And this one has my name written in it and then your name down here. Like,
sure does.
It's treasure.
Did I send you guys? I don't think I had all the swag and stuff when I sent you those.
No, I'll have to send you. We get the stuff from the other one. Oh, I do want to. I need to give you the Piper snarky comment because Piper.
That's her oldest daughter.
My oldest. She's ADHD, hyper intelligent. So, adults are her favorite people. She looks at this and she goes, "It's really nice of her to sign it." She didn't have a silver marker so you could see it better.
She's right, though.
The shade.
She's so right. The thing is, I do have silver markers, but I don't use them because they don't work.
I know. Well, they don't. I literally looked at her and I go, they won't stay. They have a different chemical than regular Sharpies. And she goes, "That's disappointing," and walked away.
She's right. She's right. It is disappointing. I need them to step up their silver Sharpie game so that people can read things.
I go, but as soon as she said that, I go, I can't wait to tell Chessie that on the pod because she's going to laugh her shit off. Because
she's absolutely right.
Because it's kids. It's how kids talk, right?
It's how kids talk.
And that's how you write them like that, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's like, you know that there's no shade. Like, it's not like an underhanded thing.
No, it's not. They're
just saying what they think.
She's just like, I bet Chessie was worried about that. Like, I'm sure she was concerned about it. Like,
yeah. You know what? I should go buy some like fresh, like metallic Sharpies for my signing because you're right. and I need to get them to work. I just need to have a lot of them. That's what we're going to do.
Just sign a new copy, sign it and send it. Thanks, Pipe. And just send.
Thank you. Here's the new copy.
You little shithead, don't talk shit to me about your mom anymore.
So
don't give me any more shit.
I have no idea why I love this so much, but one of my favorite parts of books is reading the author's acknowledgments. So I need the full book because I need to see the author acknowledgments.
One thing that's really sad for me is that I think it's because of the number of pages or something. Like, I've seen books with 6 or 7 pages of acknowledgments, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. I have never gotten more than 1 page. Literally one side of 1 page. I have to like cram it all in, so like I don't get that many.
I just love it.
I never get that. Good.
Mine are the favorite. My favorite ones are the ones that are rambling about how they start talking about their first grade teacher, and the next thing you know, they're talking about their goldfish that died when they were 12 and how they did a funeral for it, And I always love those. Anyways, thanks, Mom. Read my book. It's just.
If I ever get to write an author's note for any of my books that like goes in the front, I think I'm gonna ramble for a really long time, and then at the end just finish it off with like, well, you read all of this, so you can read the book now, I guess. Fuck you, and then just
It should be everything you want to say, but backwards and upside down.
just really be mean about it.
Well, I that's all I have, Molly.
That's all I got. Like we talked about it all.
Anything else we should know, Chessie?
Yeah. Are you going to be anywhere? Are you promoting this? Like, do we have the things we need to tell people to go do?
Yes. So, again, you can pre-order. By the time this episode comes out, you can still pre-order. You can pre-order it from anywhere, but if you pre-order from Fables and Fairy Tales Bookshop, you will get all the extra swag and you'll get a signed copy. And they do ship internationally.
Nice.
You may just have to like email them.
Okay.
Also, there are 2 release day events. They are both in Indiana. One is on Tuesday the 28th at the Greenwood Mall, Barnes & Noble.
Nice.
And the other one is on Saturday, April 1st at Fables and Fairy Tales in Martinsville, Indiana. So come and see me if you can.
Road trip,
I will be there. I will be signing things.
Because, we don't have enough going on with the extra books we have to read for
our convention. Chessie in person.
Oh. And to prove that I do not hate all children, in the front of the, like, around the dedication and the hardback copy, there will be 2 pictures drawn by 2 little girls, 2 sisters, who are the daughters of my trainer at the gym. And they may be there to sign their pictures
at
the Fables and Fairy Tales event. So if you come
Nobody
to that
thinks
one,
you hate kids. They all know I do.
They may question it if she keeps killing them off.
I mean, I killed some kids
I don't know.
too in these
we'll
books.
Let you know. That's how the story literally starts.
That is how it starts. Just a warning for anybody going to read this. It starts with off-page with a murder.
I mean, she didn't do it on purpose. It just kind of happened, man.
It just kind of happened. It's the aftermath. You don't actually see it.
It was an accident.
All right. I don't think it was.
It wasn't.
So, just a reminder, besties, that we are not having an episode next week. We are taking a week off, and so we'll be back in April. So, Molly, are you cool with me showing the April books?
Fine.
You mind hanging out for a second, Chessie? Is that okay?
Yes.
All right, so
I want to see you.
We're starting April with The Nature of Witches.
Which is a Piper Addison suggestion.
By Rachel Griffin, and this is YA. I checked it out from my local library today. Support local libraries. Actually, I checked it out from the library where I work, not my
Piper said we had to put that on season 4. It wasn't a request, it was a
We actually
must.
have 2 Piper books, because we have a book in June about an asexual character, too. So, the second book for April is The Dead Romantics, by Ashley Poston. I'm not really sure how you say her last name, but she wrote the Once Upon a Con series, and I love that series. It's so funny. It's so good. It's fairy tale retellings, but like nerd culture. This is not in that series at all. It's an adult novel, but I started it today. I am 32 pages in and have laughed numerous times. So
solid.
The third book I do not have a copy of. It's some Molly pick that has, I don't know. It's
super weird. I'm really excited about it.
Like, I already know. But it's called something. What is it called? Well, I probably should know. Get your shit together, April.
I don't have my shit together. When do you?
I don't know. When will
I'm
we
pulling
ever?
it up. Stand by to stand by.
Super weird. Can't remember what it's called.
We're 4 seasons in.
Cult classic by Sloane Crossley.
Yeah, sure.
Cult classic.
Yeah, I'm probably not gonna like that. I looked at the cover today. I was like, nah. All right.
It looks so good.
And then we're wrapping out the month of April with Last Chance Library by Freya Sampson. Maybe is how you say her name. And this one is because April is National School Library Month, and it's also National Library Week, and National Library Worker Day is all in April. So we're going to celebrate libraries. I don't know. Maybe this book doesn't celebrate libraries. I really don't know what it's about. It's called Last Chance Library.
It's a book.
It's a book. It has a library on it. Who knows? I found it in the romance section. Who knows? So that's what we're doing for April. And also in April, we will be at the Annapolis Book Festival. And we will be interviewing some awesome authors who I'm currently reading some of them right now and enjoying it.
It is free for everybody.
Free to come.
The DMV area. It is at the Key School on April 29th. It's running from 10 till 4. There's going to be face paintings and like crafts and like all the crap, and it's all the things.
All the things.
It's all the things, guys.
And we will be there. We will be interviewing authors. We will have some friends of the pod. My husband, editor Tom, Nurse Katie will be there. Unfortunately, Chessie will not be there, but maybe in the future. Maybe
it's super rude of her just like blow us off like that. How dare you have a life?
I know. I might be at another anime convention.
Yes.
Sounds awesome.
Live your best life, girlie.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, that's it. Chessie, thank you again so much.
We love you, Chessie.
Thank you for having me.
If you want to come
on, love coming on here.
If you want to come on in season 5 again, let us know. We'd love to have you again.
Just tell us when in season 5. It's not a if, it's when. You tell us when. You
let us know when it works in your schedule.
Oh, you want to read one of our spooky reads with us?
Yes.
That's what we're doing in October. I do not.
I'll send you the list.
Books, so
yes, please send me the list of spooky books. I love spooky books.
Okay,
I need more of them in my life.
Well, you come on in October then.
Okay.
April's like, fuck that noise. Molly picks scary shit.
I do not like scary books, and we're doing a whole month of them, so yay for me. All right, so that's it, guys. Thank you again so much, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for joining us, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on Book Besties. Don't forget to like and subscribe. The views discussed here are those of Molly and April, not those of anyone else. Today's book was Greymist Fair, written by our special guest, Francesca Zappia. Your Book Besties are Molly Biggs and April Watkins, editing by Thomas Watkins, and music is Sleep Sweetly by Brigida. Don't forget to follow Book Besties on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. If you'd like to contact the Book Besties, please email us at bookbestiespod@gmail.com or visit our website, bookbestiespodcast.com. Until next time, besties, get lost in your favorite book.